हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह और अभी एक ऐसी शख्सियत के साथ हम गुफ्तगू में होंगे who needs no introduction at all. आप सब इनको जानते हैं, आप इनको बहुत प्यार करते हैं, सराहते हैं, idolize करते हैं. You look up to him as a source of inspiration. Well, I would say he is a source of my inspiration in fact. And when you hear his talks on YouTube, दिल करता है भाई देखते जाओ, देखते जाओ. So कुछ लोग होते हैं ना, कुछ शख्सियत होती हैं जिनको तारुफ की वो मोहताज नहीं होती. You don't have to introduce them. You will be just wasting your time if you go on introducing them. But as you all know, I mean, Major Vivek Jacob has been a hardcore para commando. He joined the army when the 9 para SF was he was as a para commando. उसके बाद special forces बना उसके बाद. हम उनसे बात करते हैं what is the NDA days, what motivated him to join the army, and of course his father is a very very illustrious officer himself. And after what made him being an ex-NDA, what made him come out of the army and then start his own entrepreneurial venture, which is doing exceedingly well. Claude, we will talk on that as well. And in fact, that is something which I am really very intrigued to know myself. So without wasting further time, I would say, let us go on to the person we've been waiting to hear for a very, very long time. Please put your hands together and please welcome Major Vivek Jacob. Sir, Jai Hind, sir. What an honor to have you, sir.
Jai Hind, buddy. Jai Hind. It's an honor to be here, an honor to be speaking to you. And you're doing extremely well with what you're doing and the kind of clarity of mind that you express on your talks, especially as a defense analyst. It's really great. So it's a honor to be be here on your podcast. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Very kind of you to say that. When it comes from a senior like you, sir, my day is made. भाई और क्या चाहिए, इससे बेहतर और क्या चाहिए. सर ये बताइए, शुरू से शुरुआत करते हैं. सर, योर फादर वाज इन द आर्मी, सो आपको ये मोटिवेशन फौज में आने का कहाँ से मिला? इज इट बिकॉज़ ऑफ योर फादर, और डू यू थिंक इफ यू डिड नॉट कम फ्रॉम एन आर्मी बैकग्राउंड यू स्टिल वुड हैव वांटेड टू जॉइन द आर्मी एट दैट टाइम? सो लेट्स शुरू स्टार्ट करते हैं. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दैट, सर.
So, as far as the interest in joining the army is concerned, so more or less, I don't think it was really anything to do with or anything much to do with my father having been in the army, my grandfather having been in the Indian army. I was definitely exposed to how life is, for an army kid, right? But life for an army kid and life for an army soldier is very very different. So that's one. And second thing is that my father was out most of the time. He was always posted in field areas and things like that. So there wasn't really too much of my childhood that I spent with him or things like that. And to say that it is because of my dad that I joined the army would not be correct, actually, in my opinion. And because I wasn't really interested in joining the army, in the sense that was not my first option. My first option, what I wanted to do, because basically somehow after class 12th, I have to be on my own feet. If I can't, the ideal situation would have been that after class 12th, I should have started earning and being able to look after my mother and things like that. But so that was the reason why and also I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world, and I wanted to have enough money so that I can look after my responsibilities, my family. Simple things, everybody goes through that. So merchant navy was a great place to look at, in terms of that I'll get to travel abroad, and I'll get to travel and see various countries around the world, and I'll see different cultures, different people, different kind of things that this world has to offer. And merchant navy was considered as a decent source of income. It probably still is, I don't know. And so that was my option. But क्या बोलते हैं, after class 12th, basically I had to look after, or rather be in a position to pay for my own education, which I didn't have, financially speaking. And it costs, at that point of time, I remember back in 1997, it was 5 lakhs, I think. At that time, I remember 5 lakhs to join a marine engineering course, right? तो 5 लाख तो तो सवाल ही पैदा नहीं है ना. 5 रुपए नहीं थे जेब में, तो 5 लाख कहाँ से हो जाएंगे, राइट? So that kind of was a fait accompli. I couldn't go for that. The second option was to join merchant navy as a deck cadet, right, and work my way up. So that was the second option. And but the issue with that was that I didn't have a 6 by 6 eyesight, right? So at that point of time, I don't know how it is today, but at that point of time, you required 6 by 6 eyesight to join the merchant navy. Okay. So merchant navy went out of the window, and my second option was to join the army, join ND, and there was just nothing else that I thought of. These were the two options that I had, and so I went in for my second option. That's the first time I actually sat down, and opened my books on my own without my mom breathing down my neck. तो क्या कहते हैं है ना, नहीं तो मेरी माँ तो बहुत परेशान थी मेरे से पढ़ाई के चक्कर में. So क्या कहते हैं so I had a lot of interest in certain things. Certain things I knew far more than probably people much elder to me. There were certain things that were of deep interest to me, so I would naturally study all of that. But there were certain things that I just didn't get or didn't like, so I wouldn't go into that. Okay. So जो भी है, mom wanted to make sure that I completed my at least my basic studies properly, and but when the time for NDA came, जब NDA का time आया तो I knew this was my chance. This was the only chance that I had, more or less, at least the only chance that I knew of. And I just sat down and studied, and I studied and studied and studied, and like my mom was quite shocked कि रात को अपने आप देर देर रात तक पढ़ाई कर रहा है ना, क्लॉक लगा के मेहनत कर रहा है, और क्या कहते हैं मच्छर काट रहे हैं पर फिर भी पढ़ रहा है, थिंग्स लाइक दैट. So I gave the exam for NDA, and the first time I didn't clear the written. The second time I cleared the written, didn't clear the SSB. The third time I cleared the written and the SSB and the medical, and joined the NDA in the 100 course NDA. So that's where that's how the background of joining the army happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's so interesting. That's so inspiring. वाकई में. सर ये बताइए, जब एनडीए में गए तो बहुत भूत बनता है सर. The kind of रगड़ा one gets. So tell us about your first day in NDA, the very first day. जिस दिन आप you entered the portals of the National Defense Academy.
So क्या कहते हैं, first day, like फर्स्ट डे तो क्या होता है एनडीए में, लाइक शुरू के हमारे टाइम में तो खैर ऐसा ही था. शुरू के आई थिंक 2 हफ्ते ऑर्डर्स होते हैं स्क्वाड्रन के अंदर कि फर्स्ट अवर्स को जो नए नए आ रखे होते हैं इनको तंग नहीं करना है, कीप ऑफ देम, हैंड्स ऑफ होता था बेसिकली, सो दैट नोबडी रन्स अवे, है ना. आते ही, बिकॉज पीपल आर कमिंग फ्रॉम सो मेनी डिफरेंट बैकग्राउंड्स, फ्रॉम सो मेनी डिफरेंट styles of upbringing and things like that. Uh, so in our time it was like this. I don't know how it is now, but for 2 weeks nobody would trouble you, and that's how it was going. 3-4 दिन बिल्कुल ठीक चल रहा था, है ना. Now you don't have, you have to go, there's a senior assigned to you from the fourth term, and that guy takes you around everywhere. पूरे फर्स्ट टर्मर्स का, आपके स्क्वाड्रन के फर्स्ट टर्मर्स का पूरा एक ग्रुप बनता है, और फिर वो पूरा ग्रुप जाके इधर उधर घूम रहा होता है एनडीए में. किट इश्यूज हो रहा होता है, बुक्स इशू हो रहे होते हैं, लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर बीइंग इशूड टू यू, राइट, एंड यू आर बीइंग बेसिकली हेल्प टू सेटल डाउन एंड वगैरह वगैरह. एंड ऐसे मतलब स्वीटली चल रहा था सब कुछ फॉर अबाउट आई थिंक 4-5 days or whatever. And then one day we game parade होता है शाम को ना, people go play games and come back at a certain time and all that. तो एनडीए में बेसिकली शाम को eats आते हैं, tea and eats, right. You get some cold coffee or tea or whatever along with some maybe a samosa or maybe a cake or something like that. So what happens is that different squadrons have different traditions, and so in our squadron the thing was, as soon as the game parade finishes, the entire squadron collects outside the squadron. The 6-termers, the senior most people, they just move inside the squadron and they go straight to the tea room, and they have their tea and this that, and they eat as much as they want, and like that, and all the leftovers then goes to the rest of the squadron. So something like that. And we had a very funny tradition ki everybody will get eats, kind of a thing, चाहे फर्स्ट टर्मर हो चाहे 6 टर्मर हो, सबको मिलेगा, ठीक है. So, but गिनती के आते थे, if there are 120 carats in a squadron, so you will get 120 cupcakes, let's just say, right? पर सिक्स नंबर जब आते हैं तो वो छः छः सात सात खा जाते थे, ठीक है, पर मिलना सबको है, तो एक एक कपकेक का चार पांच टुकड़े होते थे और फिर बंटते थे फर्स्ट नंबर्स में, समथिंग लाइक दैट. So anyway, we came back after our kit issue, and since we were not following the routine of the squadron itself, so we kind of moved inside the squadron early. We went, got our clothes, some drill stuff and all that issued, and then we moved inside the squadron early. And फिर किसी ने हमारे साथ बहुत घिनौना मजाक कर दिया. Somebody announced in the squadron, पर आज तक नहीं पता हमको कौन था वो, mastermind type guy. So that guy announced in the squadron ki, all first timers please carry on to the tea room for eats.
Okay.
So हम लोग ने सुना, हम पहुंच गए टी रूम और हम खड़े हुए थे, वहां कोई रोकने वाला नहीं था, तो हमने खाना शुरू कर दिया, ठीक है. हाँ, so we kept eating and this that, and then the six timers arrived, and the six timers found first timers inside the tea room eating and drinking cold coffee.
Bloody hell. Oh, bloody hell.
हाँ, तो वही वहीं पे खत्म हो गया सब कुछ, है ना, सारा ऑल द कीप द हैंड्स ऑफ एंड दिस दैट सब कुछ खत्म हो गया. सिक्स नंबर्स का दिमाग खराब हो गया. उन लोग ने सारे फर्स्ट नंबर्स को फॉल इन करा के सबको कॉरिडोर में लेग्स अप हैंड्स डाउन करा दिया. बेसिकली लेग्स अप हैंड्स डाउन इज योर हैंड्स आर ऑन द फ्लोर एंड योर फीट आर अप ऑन द वॉल इन 90 डिग्री, सो लाइक दैट, उल्टा. सो सब उल्टा हो गए एंड फिर हॉकी स्टिक निकले बाहर और सबकी फिर हुई पिटाई, ठीक है. So that was quite a funny thing, that's how it started off, or the initiation into the NDA way of being, the NDA style of being, the NDA क्या कहते हैं, the informal training of NDA, I will call it, like that, yeah.
Sure. And were you very clear from the very beginning when you joined NDA कि आपको आर्मी में ही जाना है और आपको एसएफ में ही जाना है, या आप ये पैरा कमांडो बनना है, या आप सोचा कि आर्मी या नेवी या एयरफोर्स देखेंगे थर्ड टर्म फोर्थ फिफ्थ टर्म में आते आते सोचेंगे इसके बारे में?
No, I was that way. I was very clear that I was an army cadet and I wanted to join the army itself. I had no exposure of whatsoever of the Air Force or the Navy, and ऐसा कोई मेरे को मतलब there was no exposure, I would say. So I had no interest as such. And early on, like when you were a first timer and all ना, तो इतना नहीं सोचता आदमी. It is about getting through the next hour, है ना, कि अगला घंटा कैसे निकलेगा उसमें, whether it will go peacefully or रगड़ा लगेगा. तो it's more like half an hour to half an hour. You live like that for quite some time. You live like that for almost till your fourth term at least. Third term के end में जाके थोड़ा सा you start getting broader and broader swaths of time where you can predict कि हाँ थोड़ा ठीक ही निकलेगा अभी अगला एक घंटा, like that. But in the first to third terms, more or less generally for everybody, it's like this, that you really can't plan your next hour. So it's all about getting through the next hour where you don't get ragda nahi lagta. That's it. So it's like a cat and mouse game going on for years.
It is said जिसको रगड़ा लगता है फर्स्ट टर्म में, वो थर्ड टर्म मतलब सिक्स टर्म में आके he gives less रगड़ा because he knows how it feels. Like I'll give you my example, sir. मैं तो NDA एग्जाम में फेल हो गया था. I didn't get through NDA. तो मैं OTA गया. OTA में I was had nice and proper right from my first term. मैं शुरू हो गई थी मेरी. तो जब मैं सेकंड टर्म में आया, I was too busy with restrictions, running restrictions and EDs कि कहाँ टाइम था कि अपने जंगों फर्स्ट टर्म सेकंड टर्म ही तो है OTA में. तो the divide is though is like NDA first termer and sixth termer, वो first term second term की OTA में. तो मैं खुद इतना मसरूफ था, इतना बिजी था विद माय रगड़ा पट्टी के बात करने का टाइम नहीं था अपने कोर्समेट से. जूनियर को कहाँ तंग करूंगा. I want to know how was Major Vivek Jacob as a sixth termer. वो बहुत क्यूरियस हूँ मैं जानने के लिए.
Well, right from my first term, I lived a slightly different life in NDA. It was not a how should I say? So the first 3-4 months, so it was all about getting a hang of it. Okay, actually, by the time the first week had ended, I think तो मेरे को समझ में आ गया था कि भाई ये जगह ठीक नहीं है, ठीक है। यहाँ यहाँ पे बहुत रगड़ा लगने वाला है, ठीक है। रगड़ा तो is okay, but a sense of freedom, you know. So I've always had a very strong sense of freedom within me, and it's kind of, I don't know, maybe came from my father or what. Even my mom was, like that. So, uh, uh, so, uh, so, so फालतू के काम मेरे को बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं थे, है ना। लाइक जबरदस्ती कुछ हो रहा है या थिंग्स लाइक दैट। सो आई फाउंड माई सेल्फ फीलिंग वेरी सफोकेटेड इनिशियली, ठीक है। तो स्टडी पीरियड होता है एक शाम को, है ना, जिसमें बैठ के पढ़ाई करते हैं। तो so I used to be sitting and I had this Reynolds pen and I used to be smoking my Reynolds pen. So क्या कहते हैं, and for first 3 months and all, it took me some time to get my bearings and वगैरह वगैरह, and but generally by the fourth fifth month, I got a hang of things कि कैसे चलता है यहाँ पे, है ना। And I adjusted to the life very well. In fact, um, by the time I came to second term, basically, so academy mein there are two sports which are very prestigious. They're considered extremely prestigious. One is cross country and the other is boxing. After that, academy was more or less great place to be, good fun. I had a lot of I had a fantastic, very very interesting time getting through till sixth term, you know. So I had a wonderful time in NDA, and मैं सब कुछ किया वहाँ पे, like uh, whatever, within the rules, outside the rules, everything. I enjoyed myself, enjoyed the training. I was generally good in physicals and things like that. uh, बचपन से एक्चुअली, जब से मैं, आई थिंक व्हाट, क्लास 3 में, I my father started taking me for PT along with the soldiers in the morning. तो push-ups, chin-ups, क्या बोलते हैं, pull-ups, we used to run about 10 to 12 kilometers every day and things like that. तो बचपन में ही शुरू हो गया था. So kind of my body was like that. हाँ.
सेम सर, सेम। ऑब्स्टेकल कोर्स, मंकी रोप, बर्मा ब्रिज, वो सब
Yeah.
सेम। I can so
So
relate to this.
yeah. So in academy, I was at a pretty decent physical standard, and plus all this boxing and this, that, and all. So I got a lot of respect, and I got a lot of freedom in the academy, and I really enjoyed myself. And it was just an amazing time. And by the time I reached sixth term, so मेरे को एक्चुअली थोड़ा सा डिटैच रहता था मैं, इन द सेंस आई वाज पार्ट ऑफ अ लॉट ऑफ एक्टिविटीज इन द स्क्वाड एंड ऑल, बट मोर और लेस आई वाज अ लिटिल आउट ऑफ इट, यू नो। So, and I was at that time, I was going through. I've always had these existential questions in my mind, कि about who am I, what is this world all about, कहाँ से आए हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, कहाँ जाएंगे, है ना, क्यों है, so many things are there. Why are we born? Why do we die? And why is the world the way it is, etc., etc., etc. So so all these kind of questions were there, and I had such a deep need to know, right? And some people can just go through life without really thinking about who they are, right? They are more or less, uh, their mind is a slave to the circumstances, and the goals that they identify are basis their insecurities or their ideas of what success means, right? So all of these great fantasies about what is success, and what is being recognized by other people, being famous, or having a lot of money, and achieving certain goals in life and all that. All of these things are on a foundation of what? Nothing. If you don't know who you are, what you are, then the goals that you are deciding are obviously based on some kind of insecurity, or some kind of greed, or some kind of insecurity, I would just say simply. So I had these things in my mind, and I was constantly drawn to these questions. So sixth term NDA, I had there were two cabins in the squadron. Every squadron has had two cabins on the top floor which had a balcony. So there was this balcony, and I used to lie down in the balcony, mattress वैट्रेस लगाता था अपना, थोड़ा सा old monk पीता था और तारों को देखता था और सोचता था कि क्या है, what is this universe, है ना? So I was a little out of it, but as far as all sports, games, activities, all the training camps, etc. So that was natural for me, and I didn't have to work too hard to perform. तो वो ठीक था. So like that. So yeah, more or less I had a great time, and I didn't really, मैंने I was not very interested in रगड़ोइंग people, है ना, कि जूनियर्स को रगड़ना, ये करना, वो करना, मेरे को इतना इंटरेस्ट नहीं था. होना चाहिए, I suppose, I don't know, that's what training is all about, है ना. But somehow I felt that I don't need to. I would say certain things and those things would happen. I would not have to, screw somebody to make somebody do something. And I didn't really carry any grudges or things like that. ठीक है. एक दो बार कोई फंसा था मेरे हाथ में तो बस.
Sir, you mentioned आप मैट्रेस लगा के छत के ऊपर तारों को देखते थे with your old monk, you know. You would think about, or it was basically philosophy you would think about, sir?
Yeah. I wouldn't, क्या बोलते हैं, uh, I was in love with someone, but that person wasn't there or around. Obviously, you're in NDA, yeah, वो this that. But my need to know about who I am, what is this world all about, these are very basic foundational things. And I just imagine most of us are born into this world. Our parents don't tell us who we are, right? We are, depending on the religion that you're from, you're given a concept of what God is, right? And you're told that he's way, like, he's out of your reach, right? Out of your reach in the sense you can't meet him, you can't question him, nothing. And that's it. So you have no answers really. And in our education system, where are these answers, where are these existential answers, where are they actually? They're all there written in our Vedas, they're all there written, everything has been explained, and explained threadbare, that what you are and things like that. But since they are not part of our formal education system, है ना, हमको बचपन में exposure to Vedas, exposure to, these kind of things are not given. We are not taught only. We are straight away, जैसे ही वो चलना शुरू होता है उसको क्या बोलते हैं, प्री स्कूल में डाल देते हैं, right? And वहां से then you go into you go into formal schooling, and you learn about physics, chemistry, maths, biology, economics, this, that, everything you learn, but you don't know, you're not told who you are. You're just made into a slave. You're told कि भाई ये तुम्हारे ये है, ये पढ़ाई करो और तुम कुछ बनो, डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, ये सब बन जाओ और कुछ अच्छा करना, है ना, या पैसे कमा लेना, या नहीं, it's either parents who are positive, they will give positivity to their child, and they will tell their child that, do well. So they give you an education so that you can be independent and you do well and do something in life, right? And on the other side, there are parents who will tell their child कि बेटे पढ़ लेना, नहीं तो नौकरी नहीं मिलेगी, है ना, इधर उधर तू भीख मांगता हुआ मिलेगा रोड के ऊपर, और क्या बोलते तेरे से कोई शादी नहीं करेगा, और है ना, सारे रिश्तेदार तुम्हारा मजाक उड़ाएंगे, और ये वो, तो पढ़ लेना बेटे और कोई नौकरी ढूंढ लेना और कर लेना, right? Just imagine this life. I don't remember my previous life, and I don't know if I'm going to be born again. No, who cares, right? अभी जो चल रहा है वो जिंदगी तो जी ले, previous life और next life तो बाद में देख लेंगे ना. I mean, just imagine going through series of life and death without knowing who you are, always constantly regretting your, thinking that your present life is a so because your past life was like that, so your present life is like this, and you're in an endless loop, right? So somehow society is designed in such a way that it doesn't teach you about who you are. Our own parents didn't know who they were, right? You have to feel your way through the world. So, but for some, and most people are able to block it all off, right? Most people are able to not think about these foundational questions of who are you, why are you here, what am I supposed to do, right? We are just told about good and evil, right and wrong, this and that, ये वो वगैरह वगैरह हमें बता देते हैं. And different cultures around the world have different ideas about what is right and wrong, है ना, क्या बोलते हैं. So in all of this great confusion, you are one atma floating around who doesn't know who the fuck he is, right? And you're just floating around, and you just like a sheep, you're just going कि ठीक है नौकरी कर लेता हूँ, ये कर लेता हूँ, अंत में क्या होने वाला है, मर जाओगे, Nobody's escaped the system of life and death, right? At least in our community. ठीक है, तो क्या बोलते हैं, so there are few probably enlightened people who, you know, who understand the cycle, but most of us are just going through life like zombies. And whose life is it? It is your life. Imagine going, the most precious thing that you have, whether some God gifted it to you or it happened, you know, on its own, you know, that you were born by yourself, let's just say, for whatever, either God gave it to you or you were born on your own, but whatever it may be, you are there, right? You are the one who suffers, you are the one who feels joy, you are the one who feels love, you are the one who has got children, you are the one who's got parents, you are the one who's got a, you know, soulmate, all of these people that you love and really really care for and you could die for. So all of these things were there, have more or less बचपन से ही था, मतलब I remember class 2 या 3 में मेरे को शुरू हो गया था ये. And then finally, when I, you know, back when I reached 6th term NDA, 5th term, 6th term NDA, at that time I started getting more time and time enough to start reflecting back on what is the source of everything, and so like that. So yeah.
You are so intelligent and you are very very humble and आप humility बोलेगी, आप you will play it down. तो मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ वाकई में सर, आप इतने stimulating हैं, with one can hold on to an intellectual conversation with you, one can talk. आप कितने वीडियो मैंने देखे हैं, you can talk on philosophy, you can talk on spirituality, you can talk about operations, you can talk about life in the civil world, you can talk about anything, geopolitics, you talk about anything. वो आपके साथ गुफ्तगू में बड़ा मजा आता है सर, इसीलिए जब मैं आपकी कॉन्वर्सेशन सुनता हूँ यूट्यूब में, मैं उसमें आई वुड बी अ व्यूअर, मगर मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि विवेक सर मेरे से बात कर रहे हैं उस टाइम पे. दैट इज हाउ द कनेक्शन दैट यू मेक विद लॉट ऑफ पीपल सर, वाकई में.
It's about source code. So the universe has a source code. Okay, like a video game has a source code. It is binary in nature. All our computing is binary in nature, 1 or 0, right? है ना? So, but the universe is coded in threes. Like a quantum computer is coded in threes and qubits, which can justify both nothing and everything simultaneously. So that's how quantum computers are coded, in qubits, in threes, right? And such is life. Life is exactly the same. So once you know the source code, once you realize the source code, once you realize here, this is how the world is, and you go beyond judgment. Basically, judgment is the bane of the human mind. So all of this is already there, but it's not being taught to us, and it's our own history, it's our own culture, it's our own, own systems of the highest amount of knowledge. The West is just catching up with what has been written thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago in our books, in our literature. You know, all of these, which now the thing is that it's ultimately very very simple things simplify life. If you stop the habit of judgment, of judging people as good or bad, as right and wrong and this and that, right, judging the world as a good place or a bad place and things like that, you will be able to withdraw from your mind. Your sense of identity will be able to leave the mind and find its true source, right? So ये है मोटा मोटा.
Sir, that is superb, sir. आपका वाकई में with you one can converse on endless topics. Sir, one thing I'm very very intrigued to know, after you, आपके operations के बारे में सब जानते हैं, वो YouTube में बहुत वीडियो है उसके बारे में. I want to know your life with your kind of IQ. हालांकि देखिए सर, you were a very good soldier. Today you are a very successful entrepreneur. So I would like to talk with you on your entrepreneurial venture after Forge. After Forge, so what was the reason that people would want to know? Many people know also that being an ex-NDA short service officer comes out after 5 years or 10 years or after his extension period. Being ex-NDA, you came out of Forge first. Why first? And second, your journey thereafter, sir.
I was not an ambitious person, so to speak. Ambition, ambition is all about getting somewhere, becoming something, and things like that. So my ambition, in every which way, got sorted out the day I cleared my probation and balla lag gaya. In fact, I didn't get badge for quite some time. So anyway, so the day I joined my unit and I got selected in 9th para, and after that was the end of it. There was nowhere I wanted to go or become. There was nothing after that. कि 10 साल बाद यहाँ आऊंगा, वहां आऊंगा, ऐसा आऊंगा, वैसा आऊंगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. मेरे को बस, मैं पहुंच गया था जहां मुझे पहुंचना था. मेरी अचीवमेंट्स or whatever ambition that I had in my mind was over, and that's how it remained. Even now I have no ambition, right? So and then whatever, for more than a decade I operated, and क्या बोलते हैं, and then I reached a pinnacle of what I felt was meaningful to me, right? That's for me, it was to become a team commander, to command a team in combat, right, to the highest level. So I reached there. I stayed there at that level for about 2.5 years, and uh, um, when I was finishing my role as a team commander, somehow, things have happened. There's a way where when you are rising, right, when your consciousness is expanding, right, so there's a way there's a way where the universe and your mind, they start merging. Okay, so you start looking higher, you start looking beyond. Okay, and what you have done so far becomes you want to evolve further, right? तो मेरा क्या हो गया था, मेरे को evolution का भी, I had nowhere to go. After you peak out, after that I had nowhere to go, nothing to become, nothing to do. And I just what I realize is also that other than my what I was doing with my life professionally, everything else around me had become a sham, it had become a fake. I was like pretending through life. Okay, and I was able to continue this pretense, right, with people that I really really loved so much, you know. But uh, uh, I was able to get through this whole, fake style of thinking or fake style of being or whatever, because my entire mind was occupied by combat. Okay? My entire being was occupied by that. My entire what to say, meaning to life was attached to that. The moment I grew out of that, everything else fell. Okay? That when I came back home, that I had nothing to look at. That I found that, I had reached such a stage where I was hugging my own child, and I realized I'm pretending to love him. ठीक है, तो मतलब उस लेवल का हो गया था कि there was no emotions, nothing. So, and there was nothing to achieve, nowhere to go, nobody to love, nothing. ठीक है, तो just no logical explanation to how I am alive. There's no way. हो ही नहीं सकता. ठीक है, सवाल ही पता नहीं होता कि वहां से कोई जिंदा निकल जाए. ठीक है, so all of these experiences, I was able to finally stop and start reflecting back at life, and the same questions about who am I and what am I came up again, right? So and I had time to think. So I thought, धीरे करके I unpieced my life one by one, all the relationships that I had, all the incidents that I have gone through, all the bitterness that I carried, all the happiness or sources of joy that I thought are meaningful. All of these things, one by one, I split them apart and thought through everything, right? And then I came to a conclusion that I want to be thoughtless for a time. So I thought that कि एक साल के लिए मैं पहाड़ चढ़ूंगा और ऊपर बैठ जाऊंगा, लकड़ी वकड़ी काट के कैबिन बनाऊंगा, मैं और मेरा कुत्ता है ना साथ में रहेंगे, me and my dog will stay together, and I'll just plant the vegetables that I want to eat, है ना. I will hunt the meat if I feel like eating meat, and I will just sit and be. I will not think about past, I will not think about future. I will just be. I will not think anything. I will have nothing to drive me. I will not chase anything. I will not run after anything. There is nothing to become, etc., etc., etc. So it's like zeroing out, just being. So I wanted to just be, because I realized there's a lot of bullshit that I'm carrying in my head, a lot of silly, meaningless ideas about what life is, which is baseless. Actually, the more you get deeper into it, you'll realize it's baseless. It's like our reality itself. Like if you see everything else around you, everything is solid matter, right? The table, this computer, this, that, everything is solid matter, right? But when you start getting down deeper and deeper into matter itself, you go down to atomic level, you go down to subatomic level, matter disappears. There is only energy. There are worlds of energy. Okay? Actually, there is no matter. Inside of an atom, 99.999% of the atomic space is empty, right? So similarly, when I so basically this entire construct of our universe is based on nothing at the deepest level. Okay. So similarly, and the way the universe appears to you is basically you are an observer, right? So if you go into the simple experiment called, I recommend it for everybody. It's a very, very simple experiment that you should look up on the internet. It's called the double slit experiment. Basically, what it proves is that when matter is observed, it appears, in solid state. It appears in particle form, right? It shows the characteristics of having being particulate in nature. But when it is not observed, right, then it goes into wave form. Okay. So that is the basis of our entire construct. Similarly, when I explored my life, those 6 months, I stepped back and looked at everything as an observer. I looked at the life I had lived, all the relationships that I had, all the basis of those relationships, of all the decisions that I took, all the reasons why I did anything in my life. When I looked at all of these things and I went deeper into the why, I found nothing. Right. I found that these are all just things that have been taught to me by my society, by the world that I've grown up in, by by all the data that has come to my head, and I've kind of formed some kind of a picture, and it's ultimately based on insecurity and insecurity. ठीक है, तो मेरे को बिल्कुल ही खत्म हो गया. I had nothing to stand on, and the only thing was left was my own sense of self, right? So my sense of self, what I realized is that I need to zero out. I need to stop running, and I need to stop regretting. I need to just stop and sit and be like that for a year. And once my mind is clear, right, then I will know what my heart wants, and then I'll pursue it, right? So that was the basic logic. And there were a lot of things. A lot of people told me, 6 साल बचे हैं पेंशन के लिए, ये ले ले, वो कैसे करेगा, बाद में क्या होगा, ये कैसे होगा, वो कैसे. And of course, forget about other people telling me. I also understand these are very simple things. You don't have to be very intelligent to understand that money is, has got a certain place in life. That having a house and a car and being able to pay your school fees for your child to go to school, and having food on the table, and being able to look after people who come to your house, all of these things require money, etc., etc. So I knew all of these things. Okay. But at the end of the day, I had seen so much of life and death. I knew I had seen life vanishing in an instant. All the construct of what is important and what is not, just khatam. Okay. So I saw that so much that all of these things stopped scaring me. Right? ये सब कुछ देखने के बाद मैंने बोला यार थोड़ा रुक जाते हैं लाइफ में, है ना? तो मैं थोड़ा रुक गया फिर, and रुक गया, मैं बाहर आया, and I was not doing any. I changed my entire life. I changed everything. My personal life, professional life, this life, that life, everything. I put a full stop. सीधा बस और नहीं होगा. ठीक है. I walked to my commanding officer. So, and I was like an ace for him. I was his ace of spade. ठीक है. तो जहां सबसे मुश्किल काम आता था, he used to throw me. ठीक है. So and if for me, I understood what is his position, and I felt that he will, he'll feel bad and he'll feel hurt and things like that. But Jesse, he heard this. He said to Rook, 1 second. He went inside and got 2 beers outside, and we opened our beers and we sat, and I told him, sir, bas, मतलब मैं एक कदम और नहीं लेना चाहता, बस हो गया मेरा. I can't take another step. I have no reason to take another step. Every time I've taken a step in my life, in all these extreme circumstances, I had reason, I had meaning. That is why I could throw my life like that. But now I don't. So now I can't. So he just immediately got it, and he said, yeah, I understand, and you are free. अब क्या है तेरा next कदम? मैंने कुछ नहीं सर, अब मैं अपने I'll prepare my papers and I will leave now. तो ऐसे करके बस वहाँ वो कहानी खत्म हो गया. And then I left the army. When I left the army, I had no plans. In fact, one night I had reached such a stage before I spoke to my CEO. मतलब मैंने रैंक्स पहन रखे थे, मैंने रात को बारिश हो रही थी, तूफान चल रहा था, and I just like I couldn't breathe. I just took off my ranks and I said कि यार चाहे दुनिया मुझे माने ना माने कि मैं फौज में हूँ या नहीं हूँ, मैं नहीं हूँ. ठीक है. तो yeah, सो क्या कहते हैं, एंड आई रोट अ लेटर टू माय कमांडिंग ऑफिसर, फॉर्मल लेटर, दैट आज के बाद मेरी जो भी सैलरी आएगी, सिंस सिंस आई एम नो मोर इन कॉम्बैट एंड आई डोंट डिजर्व दिस सैलरी, फ्रॉम नाउ ऑनवर्ड्स ऑल माय सैलरी which comes, you know, स्पेशल फोर्सेस यूनिट है, लोग तो मरेंगे यहाँ पे इन फ्यूचर ऑल्सो, you know, soldiers are going to die here. So soldiers are going to die, they're going to have families and kids, and क्या बोलते हैं, uh, they will need money. तो माई सैलरी कैन गो इन टू द मार्टियर फंड, है ना, जो लोग फ्यूचर में सोल्जर जो मरेंगे उनकी फैमिलीज के लिए, दिस इज व्हाट आई कैन डू, दैट्स इट, बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट दिस मनी, एंड खत्म. तो ऐसे करके मैंने सारा सब कुछ खत्म कर दिया, जस्ट वाइप द स्लेट क्लीन, ठीक है. एंड आई लेफ्ट द आर्मी एंड आई केम आउटसाइड. व्हेन आई वाज लीविंग, तो I had 90,000 rupees in my account. And I came outside, and just before that, I had met this Air Force officer who was in hospital. I've spoken about it many times. There was this guy who was next to me in hospital. Youngster था, 4 साल की नौकरी में उसने स्विमिंग पूल में डाइव मार दिया था, उसका सर लग गया था और वो नेक डाउन पैरालाइज हो गया था. तो and he was, you know, he had just got married 1 month before this accident, ठीक है, और अगले 4 साल वो, यू नो, वो हॉस्पिटल में बैठा हुआ था वो, राइट. एंड वो साल में उसको 1 महीने की छुट्टी मिलती थी बस, ठीक है. सो 11 months in the year he used to spend in hospital, ठीक है. his wife was also working somewhere and things like that, and just I was just used to think, and वो कोशिश करके, मैं उसको कभी कभी देखता था, मेरे बगल वाले कमरे में था, तो मैं उसको देखता था कि उसको उसके हाथ थोड़े थोड़े से हिलते थे. So somehow he used to be able to hold a pen in his hand and he was trying to write. Then he failed in that. So he started learning how to use the computer with one finger. He started learning programming and things like that. ठीक है, तो मैं देखा था उसको. And obviously for a brother officer or for a brother human being, yeah, for any human being, you will have empathy, right? Not sympathy, empathy. So I had empathy for him. I could put myself in his shoes and understand what he must be going through. And I had a lot of respect for him, that he was holding it up. We used to meet, तो कभी, you know, हंसी मजाक कर लेता था वो. सुबह उसको पिलर से बांध देते थे तो अपनी अपर बॉडी की एक्सरसाइज करता था. People, you know, the hospital staff used to tie him to a pillar, and then he used to try and move his body, upper body, जिसमें थोड़ा सा एक मूवमेंट था, ठीक है. All of these things I saw. And then one day he comes up to me and, you know, व्हीलचेयर में था, आया और बोलता है कि सर, मैंने सुना है आप पैरा कमांडो हो. तो मैं बोलता हाँ. तो बोलते सर, आप जैसे, you know, आप तो स्कूबा डाइविंग वगैरह करते होगे. बोला हाँ करते हैं यार. तो बोला सर, मेरा जैसा आदमी भी कर सकता है क्या. मैंने उसको देखा, तो I knew his entire background, by then I had observed him. And for me, yaar, nothing is impossible in this world. Nothing. I believe that any human being, if he has right reason, right meaning, that his decision to do something in his life is based on clarity, that clarity which is of the heart and it is coming from within, it's possible. The world is like that, where anything can be done, anything, right? If it's good for the universe will support it. That's how the universe stays in existence, है ना. तो मैंने इसको देखा, मैंने इसको बोला यार, I don't know if a person like you can scuba dive. I don't know. So I told him I'll come back to you, है ना. तो मैंने जाके देखा, इधर उधर वीडियोस देखे, YouTube पे बहुत सर्च वर्च किया, और मेरे को एक वीडियो मिल गया. I found a lady back in 2015. She was a British lady. She was also paralyzed like him, and she was on a wheelchair. And Sue Austin करके है, you guys should look her up. ठीक है, Sue Austin. She's a Brit, and she's on a wheelchair, and she's got scuba cylinders strapped to the back of her wheelchair, और उसके प्रोपेलर लगे हुए हैं, and उसने प्लास्टिक का एक विंग टाइप डिजाइन कर रखा है. And she's in a gown, and she is underwater. She's scuba diving. She's doing ballet underwater for 30 minutes. ठीक है. Yeah. मैंने देखा यार ये क्या है, तो मैंने जाके उसको दिखाया. I showed it to him. You see, yaar, it's possible. What you are thinking is possible. It's been done before, right? तो उसने देखा, बोलता है सर ये तो बड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड लग रहा है, मैं कैसे करूंगा. तो दैट मोमेंट वो एक अंदर से आत्मा से आवाज निकलती वाली कहानी, वो निकल गई बाहर. ठीक है, मैंने उसको बोला यार क्या बात कर रहा है यार, हम करा देंगे यार, मैं कराऊंगा तेरे को, डोंट वरी. ठीक है. सो आई हैड अ ब्लैंक स्पेस, मेरे को कुछ नहीं करना था, और उस ब्लैंक स्पेस में आके एक इच्छा शक्ति, produced itself. Somebody asked for something, and I felt motivated to do that, and I just, and एक बार वादा कर दिया तो कर दिया वाली कहानी है ना, हो गया बस. बिकॉज वो वादा जो है वो पिटी से नहीं निकला है, क्योंकि वो बेचारा है उसकी वजह से नहीं निकला है। वो वादा इसलिए निकला है कि इसको जरूरत है, इसका मन है, और मेरा भी मन है ये करने का, मजा आएगा, दैट्स ऑल। ठीक है, तो जस्ट एंड वी कैन डू इट यार, कुछ भी कर देंगे, है ना। एज स्पेशल फोर्सेस यू आर सपोज टू बी एबल टू डू द इम्पॉसिबल एवरी टाइम, योर मैंडेट इज इम्पॉसिबल, है ना। कि फॉर एग्जांपल स्पेशल फोर्सेस आर meant to go and operate in foreign territories, right? That's the official thing. You are supposed to be able to go and destroy targets, or being able to create circumstances in foreign countries abroad, right? Where of course at the borders as well, but ultimately it is all being about to be able to execute, or being able to execute the policy of the government abroad, right? So and in under what circumstances? Under circumstances that if you are, firstly though, you have to penetrate into the system. Okay, you have to be able to cross physical boundaries, go across, deep across, right? You are supposed to be able to क्या बोलते हैं, operate in very very small teams with high strategic missions which are given to you, कि अगर वो मिशन फेल हो गया तो लड़ाई हारी और जीती जा सकती है। ठीक है, very very surgical missions are sent out, very very profound missions go out, right? So, and what is anybody waiting for you there with garlands and sweets? No, people are waiting for you there with guns, right? They're going to bloody kill you, and before they kill you they'll do something else also, right? So a special forces soldier is supposed to be able to penetrate into hostile territory and execute the will of the government abroad, right? तो इम्पॉसिबल है यार वो, दुश्मन बेवकूफ थोड़ी ना है,
Right.
कि बैठा हुआ है, he is suntanning himself next to the beach and special forces come and do something and fly off back. It's not like that. They're as good as you are, probably better. You should always feel that the enemy is better than you, and that's why you will go in at your highest level, right? Better than you as in क्या बोलते हैं, more poised, right? कि क्या बोलते हैं, you should never think your enemy is a fool, है ना। तो ऐसे करके so that kind of thing, when you are supposed to be able to execute those kind of things, then यार एक बंदे को स्कूबा डाइविंग तो मैं करा ही दूंगा, है ना। So I started calculating. When I started calculating, it just kept opening and opening and opening and opening. I found that there are so many people like this in the world. There are 1.2 billion people who are suffering some or the other kind of disability of the mind or the body, right? And rare diseases and things like that. There's so many things. ठीक है, and क्या कहते हैं, so I just what I realized slowly as I kept researching वो फिर घुस गया वो SF वाला दिमाग उसके अंदर, ठीक है, and खोलता गया and last में I came upon a system where I realized that okay, this and everything about special forces style of thinking is about self-reliance, self-sufficiency, right? So the plan that I made was self-sufficient in its nature, that not only this guy but क्या बोलते हैं, but as many people like this in the world will be able to, किसी को scuba diving करनी है, किसी को skydiving करनी है. There not only people with disabilities, there are people who are terminally ill, who are going to die. अगर उनका last wish fulfill कर दिया तो कितना मजा आएगा, नहीं? Simple as that. Right. As simple as that. ठीक है. And there was behind all of this, there was love in the sense. So when I was married to my wife, she had an autoimmune disease. It's an incurable disease. She had the disease, and it's called
lupus.
Yeah, lupus. So
she
lupus had, yeah. So she had lupus, and it got detected luckily, before it got too bad and all. But it's incurable. She's on steroids and things like that. तो मैं उसको देखता था, and I love her so much, and I used to feel यार कि है ना क्या करें, मतलब what should we do, कि there is no cure, है ना. So I started researching into the system of rare diseases. I found यार कि the reason why rare diseases don't have solutions is because there is no money in rare diseases. Very few people have them, and it requires millions and millions and millions of dollars and extreme laboratories, and so much investment is required of money to be able to create solutions, right? To create medicines which will heal a person with a rare disease, right? तो क्या होता है, द रीजन वाई रेयर डिजीजेस, लाइक कोविड हुआ, ठीक है, कोविड हुआ तो 9 महीने में वैक्सीन निकल गई यार, ठीक है, क्योंकि पूरी दुनिया को हो रहा था, ठीक है, पूरी दुनिया को हो रहा था, तो उसमें बिजनेस था, इतना इतना पैसा था, आप मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स इन्वेस्ट करो और आपको बिलियंस एंड बिलियंस एंड बिलियंस वापस मिला है, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाट्स ड्रिवन इट। सो आई थॉट यार कि, मैंने बोला यार ये रेयर डिजीज है, इसका तो nobody is going to find the solution to this because there's no funding. It requires heck of a lot of funding, and requires funding over a period of time. It requires data collection from around the world. It requires so many things. Ultimately it requires a heck of a lot of money, right? तो मैंने सोचा था यार कि I thought that I will leave the army and I will study genetics, ठीक है, that is what I had thought actually. एक साल जीरो आउट करूंगा और फिर I'll become a DNA scientist, because her disease is at the genetic level. It's a malfunction in the DNA, ठीक है. So I thought I'll become a genetic scientist and I will study and I'll find the cure for it. पर जैसे मैंने और रिसर्च किया, मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि it's not about one DNA scientist. It is DNA research itself is a very very vast and specialized field, where you will require a bunch of DNA scientists with various kind of specializations. They will need laboratories, they will need data, they will need a heck of a lot of money to be able to find the cure, right? तो मैं बोला यार मेरी लाइफ टाइम तो एक डीएनए साइंटिस्ट मैं बन जाऊंगा, right? But it's a business, it's just a different level thing, right? So I left thinking that I'll find the cure, I will find the cure. And I asked myself कि I was at a certain stage of realization also, या जो भी है, I just asked myself this question, can I or can I not? I said I can, and that's why I came out also, ठीक है, one of the reasons why I came out, to find the cure, to make the cure. If I love someone, I'll fucking save that person. It's simple as that. If I can't, I can't. Then God is to blame, right? But if I can, and if I don't even try, then I am to blame, ठीक है. So I came outside and ऐसे करके जो भी है मैंने अपना धीरे धीरे started finding my feet outside, and then I met this ये this Air Force officer का ये हो गया, and that again put me in the same direction, and then finally everything started happening by magic. Once I took the decision to follow that path, once I made the promise to him, it was set in my heart. And when I came outside, suddenly Beam Bahadur aa gaya, ठीक है. So Beam Bahadur calls up one fine day and just says कि मैं फौज छोड़ रहा हूँ, 21 para SF, I'm leaving. And I was so surprised कि ऐसा बंदा, इतना top class soldier, what a soldier, right? What a guy, एक बंदा 100 बंदे के बराबर है यार वो बंदा, ठीक है ना, उसको किसी भी चीज में डाल दो, ठीक है. So a guy like that who would have sure shot gone very high in his own ecosystem, right? And that guy deciding to leave, and he's deciding to leave, and he calls me up and he says कि मेरे को आपके पास रहना है, मेरे को आपके साथ रहना है ना, साथ करते हैं कुछ. तो मैं उसको बोला यार तू मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं कर रहा, मतलब you can do so much in life, right? Why are you coming to me? तो he just simply said कि मेरे को सर बस आपके साथ रहना है, पैसा तो, मैंने बोला मेरे पास पैसा वैसा नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है मेरे पास, है ना, तेरे 2 बच्चे हैं, ये है, मेरा मिसेस है, ये है, फैमिली है, अपने माँ बाप का ख्याल रखता है वो, ठीक है. तो मैं सोचा यार कि मैं क्या दूंगा, क्या मेरे पास है ही नहीं. मैं खुद अपना सोच रहा हूँ कि अगले महीने का रेंट कहाँ से आएगा, और मैं तेरे को कहाँ से, हाउ आई कैन नॉट टेक योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, आई हैव नथिंग, right, to give you. There are so many places that you can go and do so much better. But he just, I don't know, for some reason his mind was clear, his heart was very clear. He simply said that कि साहब पैसा वैसा तो हम कमा लेंगे, पैसा वैसा कमा लेंगे हम, बस साथ रहना है, that's all. तो ऐसे बस ठीक है, फिर अगर यही है तो फिर तू आ जा. तो वो आ गया, तो ऐसे ठीक है, he was a mountaineer and a very very quite extreme mountaineer. ऐसे ठीक है, तू माउंटेनिंग में घुस जा, मैं डाइवर हूँ, मैं डाइविंग में घुस जाता हूँ, हम दोनों इकट्ठे होते हैं और सिखाना शुरू करते हैं लोगों को, ठीक है. तो एग्रीमेंट हो गया. मेरे पास कुछ 50,000 रुपए कुछ बचे हुए थे, मैंने उसको आई सेंट हिम फॉर द HMI में मैंने इंस्ट्रक्टर कोर्स के लिए भेज दिया. ही वाज ऑलरेडी इंस्ट्रक्टर इन द आर्मी, but to get civilian instructor certificate also. So I sent him there, and he got that, and क्या बोलते हैं, we formed together, and then things started rolling. ठीक है, एक क्या बोलते हैं, मरीन कमांडोज आ गए, दूसरे यूनिट के स्पेशल फोर्सेस मतलब आ गए, ऐसे से करते करते वन फाइन डे वेरी वेरी क्विकली आई फाउंड 10 स्पेशल फोर्सेस सोल्जर्स सिटिंग इनसाइड माय हाउस, लिविंग इन माय हाउस विद मी. कुछ भी कर सकते हैं यार, कुछ भी. ठीक है, मतलब कहीं भी हाथ डालेंगे अच्छा ही होगा, कुछ भी करेंगे अच्छा ही होगा. ठीक है, और तगड़ा होगा. तो the same thing kind of unfolded many years later when we all got together in my house. तो मैंने इनको बोला यार कि क्या कहते हैं, दुनिया में बाहर निकलने से पहले, ठीक है ना, कुछ भी करने से पहले हम जाके कुछ भी करेंगे, है ना, लोगों को एडवेंचर स्पोर्ट सिखाएंगे या जो कुछ भी करेंगे हम, है ना, उससे पहले जो हमने वादा किया है वो वादा पूरा करते हैं. ठीक है, तो वी कॉल्ड अप दैट ऑफिसर. ठीक है, वी कॉल्ड हिम अप एंड आस्क्ड हिम कि भाई तैयार है तो आजा, तेरे को डाइविंग कराते हैं. So he was studying at that time. He had been, medically boarded out of the Air Force, and he was doing his IIM. ठीक है, तो बोला सर मैं अभी बिजी हूँ, अभी नहीं आ सकता. मैं चल कोई बात नहीं, तू नहीं आ सकता, तेरे चक्कर में बहुत लोगों को अभी फायदा होने वाला है. And my journey has been completely magical after that. उससे पहले मैजिकल थी नहीं थी, वो छोड़ दो. But once we got together, it became, मतलब I am living in a series of miracles. Series.
Wow.
Yeah. There is very
those who believe in miracles.
Miracles is what? Something very very positive that you cannot explain in 2 + 2, है ना, कि 2 + 2 4 नहीं होता, वो 2 + 2 10 होता है सीधा. ठीक है, there is no logic to it except that the world is a magical place, and that things which are good for the universe will step in magically, है ना, and support it. ठीक है, तो ऐसे शुरू हुआ. एंड हम लोग हमारे पास कुछ नहीं था, है ना, जवान थे सारे. ठीक है, किसी के पास, है ना, 20,000 रुपए पेंशन आती है. ठीक है ना, तो 20,000 रुपए में कौन अपने घर चला लेगा, कौन अपने बच्चों को स्कूल भेज देगा, नहीं होता है यार. ठीक है, बट ऑल ऑफ दीज गाइज, दे काइंड ऑफ केम टुगेदर, एंड आई सेड यार एक काम करते हैं, लेट्स ट्रैवल अक्रॉस इंडिया, है ना, और जितने पैरालाइज लोग मिलेंगे सबको डाइविंग कराते हैं, है ना, बीच में ये कहीं फ्री होगा तो ये भी आ जाएगा. सो दैट्स व्हाट वी डिसाइडेड. एंड इस टाइप के जैसे आइडियाज आते हैं तो पूरी टीम फटाक से, हाँ बहुत तगड़ा आइडिया है, यही करते ऐसे हो जाता है हर बार. ठीक है, so nobody thinks anything is impossible in the team. Everybody thinks कि हाँ, कि हाँ हो सकता, why not आता है. डाउट तो आता ही नहीं है. We don't live in doubt. ठीक है, तो ये है. तो क्या कहते हैं, हम लोग, एंड देन द जर्नी स्टार्टेड. मैजिकली समबडी कॉल्ड मी अप कि हमारे पास कुछ नहीं था, ना पैसे थे ना डाइविंग इक्विपमेंट था. ठीक है, तो somewhere out of the blue I receive a phone call, somebody saying कि क्या बोलते हैं, I've heard about you guys, and is there any way that we can collaborate. तो मैंने पहली बार वर्ड सुना था ये कोलैबोरेशन. ठीक है, तो मैंने बोला क्या होता है ये कोलैबोरेट, ये हो. तो he said नहीं, अगर आप कुछ काम कर रहे हो और if we can be part of it somehow. तो I said what do you do. तो he said I've just opened up a diving company. I sell diving equipment. अरे यार तू आजा मेरे पास. ठीक है, so his company, and till today I feel that it's a work of God, the work of some higher power, super consciousness, whatever you want to call it, है ना, a great design. So this guy random, ठीक है, and I said यार हमें डाइविंग इक्विपमेंट की जरूरत है, हम ये प्लान कर रहे हैं. उसने यार करीब 20-25 लाख का इक्विपमेंट उसने भेज दिया बॉम्बे से. ठीक है, नो मनी. He didn't ask. I told him यार कि यार ये वो है ना, we'll give you publicity. He said यार कुछ नहीं चाहिए, आप लोग अच्छा काम कर रहे हो, है ना, जब आप लोग का पूरा इंडिया का भ्रमण खत्म हो जाएगा तो मेरे को इक्विपमेंट वापस दे देना बस. I said sure, why not. ठीक है, now we required, पूरा डाइविंग सिलेंडर्स थे तो we require a compressor to fill air in the cylinders, right. So he called up his friend in Delhi, and क्या कहते हैं, that guy gave us a बड़ी 8.5-9 lakhs का imported क्या बोलते हैं, कंप्रेसर फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट, न्यू थिंग, राइट आउट ऑफ हिज वेयर हाउस. ठीक है, एंड इक्विपमेंट आ गया, कंप्रेसर आ गया, डाइवर हम थे ही, ठीक है. एंड but we planned all our thing. We didn't just jump blindly into anything. The team spent its own money. You know, we went to Thailand. In Thailand, we did an experimental नया course निकला था पैडी का, where we learned how to teach disabled people how to dive, how to teach people with disabilities how to scuba dive, right? We did that course abroad. वो भी हमने एक ऐसे ट्रिप बनाया ना कि 5-6 लोगों को बोला हम जा रहे हैं, किसी को चलना है तो हम आपको भी सिखा देंगे, उससे कुछ पैसा आ गया, उस पैसे से हमने कोर्स कर लिया, ऐसे करके, यू नो, लाइक अ hustling it's called in today's world, I think. So we came back and then we started off. We went to Chandigarh Spinal Rehab Center, and there were 24 people who were paralyzed, various stages of paralysis, and uh, and I asked those 24 people, you know, I'm so and so, this is my team, we are qualified in this that, so if anybody is interested in scuba diving, please let me know. ठीक है. और 24 के 24 यार, 24 के 24, ठीक है. तो 24 एबल बॉडीड लोगों को एक कमरे में खड़ा कर दो और उनको बताओ तुम, यू नो, पैरा कमांडो हो, स्पेशल फोर्सेस हो, एक्सपर्ट इन दिस एंड दैट हो, कि मैं आपको डाइविंग करा देता हूं, आप करना चाहोगे, है ना? आई एम श्योर आउट ऑफ 24 एबल बॉडीड पीपल there will be maybe 5 or 10 people who will say yes they want to do. और उनसे भी उनको ये बोल दो ना कि 4,000 रुपए 3,000 रुपए लगेंगे, तो उसमें से आधे गिर जाएंगे, ठीक है. And here are 24 people who are undergoing spinal rehab center. They have had accidents, ठीक है. Their spinal cords have got shattered. Somebody is neck down paralyzed, somebody is waist down paralyzed, ठीक है. And they have got bed sores in their body. इतने बड़े बड़े छेद हो रखे थे उनके बॉडी के अंदर, लेट लेट के बिस्तर पे लेट के उनके बॉडी में छेद हो रखा था, ठीक है. So when I asked these kind of 24 people who are in this physical state, this psychology, many of them have been abandoned by their families, ठीक है. All of them were middle class or below, most of them were very poor, ठीक है. तो मैंने इनसे बोला यार, तो हम लोग ये हुआ है, तुम लोग करना चाहोगे डाइविंग एंड ऑल 24, जिसके हाथ चल रहे थे, जो वेस्ट डाउन पैरालाइज था उसने हाथ खड़ा करके चिल्लाया, जो नेक डाउन पैरालाइज था उसने अपने मुंह से चिल्लाया कि मैं हूं, मैं करूंगा. ऑल 24, द काइंड ऑफ, इट वाज लाइक अ वेव, सीधा कि अरे ये वो करके. तो आई गॉट शॉक, द टीम गॉट शॉक, ठीक है. तो मैं क्या करें, इतने सारे लोगों को कैसे कराएंगे? तो आई टोल्ड देम कि कि ठीक है ना, मैं सबको नहीं करा सकता एक दिन में, 5 पीपल वी विल, लाइक, यू नो, स्लोली स्टार्ट ट्रेनिंग लाइक दैट, है ना, ऐसे करके. तो इनके आपस में झगड़ा हो गया. यार मैंने पहले हाथ उठाया था, मेरा हाथ नहीं उठ रहा है, मैंने तो मुंह से पहले बोल दिया था, यू नो, लाइक, सच अ पॉजिटिव, लाइक इट वाज जस्ट क्रेजी, ठीक है.
वाओ.
Yeah. And then we started teaching them. There was this lady who used to come on a wheelchair. Her left leg was paralyzed, I think 6-7 साल से हो रखा था. And she was one of the first people to dive with us. She was one of the first people to dive with us. And everybody was getting only one chance. क्योंकि 24 लोग थे. हमने 20,000 रुपए जो कुछ पैसा वैसा था उससे हमने स्विमिंग पूल हायर कर रखा था और कर रहे थे ये, ठीक है. तो क्या कहते हैं, so her chance got over on the first day only, but
Right.
next day again she was there for 5 days. She kept coming, and every day what was happening was वो पूरा दिन वहां पे पूल के साइड में वहां बैठ के देखते रहती थी. उसको पता था कि एक ही चांस है, वो तो पहले दिन खत्म हो गया है. And she was a middle-aged lady, like in her late 40s, ठीक है. She had a grown-up daughter, तो क्या बोलते हैं, सीनियर लेडी, ठीक है. तो क्या बोलते हैं, every day in the evening I would tell her, मैं उसको देखता रहता था, पूरा दिन बैठी हुई है, देख रही है, चुपचाप बैठ के देखते रहती थी. तो शाम को जब आखिरी डाइव खत्म हो जाता था, I used to go to her कि you want to try again? तो बोलती yes, because I knew she's waiting for that only. So every day for 5 days she got to dive last every day. On the 5th day her leg started moving inside the pool, ठीक है. Suddenly her leg, which had been paralyzed for 7 years, suddenly started moving. तो बड़ा शॉक हो गया कि ये कैसे हो गया, वो कैसे हो गया, this that, how is this happened and this that, and she was in tears and, you know, of happiness कि ये कैसे हो गया, things like that. So we started researching. I started, you know, checking it out कि ये क्या है. Then came across depth therapy, something called depth therapy. ठीक है. Then we realize कि US में soldiers who come back from Afghanistan, from Iraq and all, who have lost their limbs, for them it's compulsory. ठीक है, they are given depth therapy where they are taken for diving and all that, and the science is that under a certain depth, under a certain pressure, it the pressure of the water acts on the DNA. The DNA has got a tail. It's called the telomerase, and that basically defines the rate of your healing, है ना. So every time the cell divides, that telomerase goes shorter and shorter and shorter, right? So the
Right.
body's, the reproduction of new cells becomes slower and slower and slower, and you age, right?
Right.
But under pressure, either in hyperbaric chambers where pressure is created artificially, or through underwater diving, right? The length of the telomerase starts increasing again. ठीक है. सो ऐसे करके बहुत सारी चीजें पता लगनी शुरू हुई. एनीवे, वहां से फिर हम दिल्ली पहुंच गए. दिल्ली में, यू नो, थ्री डेज लेटर ऑफ रीचिंग दिल्ली, वी हैड नथिंग. वी लैंडेड अप इन कनॉट प्लेस विद 2 व्हीकल्स व्हिच समबडी हैड गिवन अस. ठीक है ना, किसी ने हमको कहीं मिला यार, बंदा अपनी गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ आया हुआ, पहली बार मिल रहा है, उसने सुना हमारा काम क्या कर रहे हैं, उसने अपनी गाड़ी से, ही हैड अ टोयोटा, ही हैड अ इसूजू एस क्रॉस था, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, है ना, द पिकअप थिंग,
समझ गया.
राइट.
पीछे से खुली होती है. It's like a truck.
इट्स अ पिकअप ट्रक. ठीक है, वो बंदा मतलब नॉर्थ ईस्ट से गाड़ी चलाता हुआ आया था विद हिज गर्लफ्रेंड. ठीक है, यंग गाय, मस्ट बी 27-28 ईयर ओल्ड गाय, राइट. एंड वो अपनी गर्लफ्रेंड, उसने भी गर्लफ्रेंड को बोला यार गाड़ी से बाहर निकलो. ही गॉट आउट ऑफ हिज व्हीकल एंड गेव मी द फकिंग कार कीज. ठीक है, कि सर आप इतना इक्विपमेंट लेके घूम रहे हो, हम पूरे 10 डाइविंग सेट, पता नहीं क्या क्या हम लेके, कंप्रेसर सब कुछ लेके घूम रहे थे. एक देयर वाज समबडी फ्रॉम द पुलिस. ठीक है, वो बंदा था, वो मिला, उसने यार अपनी स्कॉर्पियो दे दी यार, कि सर आप इसको इस्तेमाल करो. पर्सनल गाड़ी दे दी. उसके बाद एक ही गाड़ी थी, दिस अदर गाय आल्सो. ठीक है, एंड बस गाड़ियां हो गई, गाड़ियों ने सामान लोड कर दिया और हम दिल्ली पहुंच गए. वी रीच कनॉट प्लेस. ठीक है, कनॉट प्लेस में हम 10 स्पेशल फोर्सेस के सोल्जर्स, रिटायर्ड सोल्जर्स खड़े हुए हैं. आर ट्रक इज, आर बड़ी पिकअप इज फुल ऑफ डाइविंग इक्विपमेंट एंड वी डोंट नो वेयर टू गो. हम लोग ने रेड क्रॉस का एक स्विमिंग पूल बात बूत करके बोला था कि हमको ये दे दो, हम यहाँ पे ये वाली ट्रेनिंग करना चाहते हैं. तो वेरी रिलक्टेंटली दैट गाय हैड सेड यस. एंड जब हम वहां एक्चुअली पहुंच गए, वो बंदा गायब, मिलने के लिए तैयार नहीं. ठीक है, तो हम खड़े हुए कनॉट प्लेस में, सोच रहे हैं कहां जाए, इतना सारा इक्विपमेंट लेके कहां जाए, किधर रहें, वेयर डू वी टेक शेल्टर. ठीक है, होटल में रहने के पैसे नहीं थे, तो क्या करें. ठीक है, तो सडनली एक कॉल आया एक बंदे का. ठीक है, some guy I had just met, some guy who was working in the news business, right? He's a reporter, defense correspondent. ठीक है, ऐसी उससे बात हो गई. उसने बोला सर मेरे घर आ जाओ. ठीक है, तो we went to his house in CR Park. ठीक है, हम उसके घर में, बोले छोटा सा वेरी हम्बल हाउस यार, है ना, एक ड्राइंग रूम था और एक बेडरूम था. ठीक है, एंड ही इज लिविंग विद हिज ओल्ड मदर, ही इज लुकिंग आफ्टर हिज मम. ठीक है, तो हम उसके घर में पहुंचे, हम 10 बंदे यार, उसके ड्राइंग रूम में पूरा डाइविंग इक्विपमेंट, यानी क्या क्या ये वो, एंड ऑल ऑफ अस स्लीपिंग ऑन द कार्पेट. ठीक है, एंड whatever he had in terms of food and this that he shared with us, and what a relationship we formed. ठीक है, तो ऐसे करके, and 3 days later I found myself sitting in front of the sports minister, that time sports minister Shri Kiran Rijiju. ठीक है, and what a man यार, 20 minutes he just asked me, you know, क्या बोलते हैं, मेरा क्या था, मेरी फौज से आदत थी, मेरी शर्ट का बटन खुला रहता था. ठीक है, हाँ, तो I went to meet him like that only. ठीक है, I don't think these things, है ना, क्या बोलते हैं कि बटन बंद होता है तो सांस थोड़ा सा उतना फ्रीली नहीं आता है, तो इसलिए मेरा एक बटन खुला रहता है. इट्स नथिंग, इट्स जस्ट अ प्रैक्टिकल थिंग. ठीक है, सो आई वॉक्ड इन लाइक दैट इनटू हिज ऑफिस. ठीक है, एंड I saw him staring at my open button. ठीक है, तो and I was talking, मैंने realize किया fuck up तो हो गया अब तो. ठीक है, तो you know, for 20 minutes now I was just talking to him and he was just listening very very quietly, just listening, and he was like, for 5-10 seconds he would be looking in my eyes, and the rest of the 40-50 seconds he was staring at my open button. ठीक है, हाँ, बड़ा हो गया था, इंटेंस सीन. तो 20 minutes passed, he just asked me one thing, कि क्या बोलते हैं, you know, he just frog, he's what a guy. So you don't become leaders just like that, is what I realized. ठीक है, this person meeting me for the first time, at the end of the day is a human being. ठीक है ना, and क्या बोलते हैं, in what 15-20 minutes of just listening to me, explain things, and he's quietly listening, and he's a very very busy man, sports minister and now law minister, and things like that, and very so many people waiting to meet him and things like that, and सबको time दे रहे हैं, ठीक है, and मेरी बात सुन रहे हैं और दिमाग भी खराब हो गया. I knew he's pissed off because of my shirt button being open. He may have felt it like disrespect. From my side it was not, सोचा ही नहीं, ठीक है. तो anyway, 20 मिनट 15-20 मिनट जो भी मैंने बोला वो खत्म हुआ, एंड ही जस्ट मेरे साहब ये बहुत बढ़िया काम है, क्या चाहिए आपको? तो मैंने बोला सर हमको टालकटोरा पूल दे दो, है ना. We'll call all people who are paralyzed and disabilities in Delhi NCR and they'll come and dive there. तो पूल दे दो. तो he said अरे यार I will also come and dive with you guys. ठीक है. तो ऐसे करके हो गया. बहुत ड्रामा हुआ वहां पे एक्चुअली. उसने बोला लाइए क्या साइन करना है, तो मैं तो कुछ कागज लेके चलता नहीं हूँ. एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड लर्निंग माय लेसन दैट पीपल विल से यस. पीपल आर एक्चुअली मच बेटर देन यू थिंक दे आर. ठीक है. एंड एवरीबडी इज नॉट मोबिलाइज्ड बाय मेरा क्या फायदा है इसमें. देयर आर पीपल हु आर हाई परफॉर्मर्स हु आर एक्चुअली एबल टू हैव a very meaningful life. Those people do not live on transactions. They don't transact with each other. They look for opportunities where they can do good. That's their transaction. ठीक है. They are directly dealing with the universe. ठीक है ना. तो वो है. So है ना. Otherwise most people think कि मेरे को तेरे से क्या मिलेगा, मेरे को मोहम्मद अली शाह से क्या मिलेगा. मोहम्मद अली शाह सोचता है कि जेकब से क्या मिलेगा. ठीक है. तो वो है. तो anyway क्या कहते हैं, he said yes, go ahead. I told him, sir, I'll prepare the paperwork and I'll get it signed by your, by your secretary or your staff. ठीक है. तो he said, ठीक है. And we left. I thanked him and I left. And हमने जोर शोर में पूरा दिल्ली में अनाउंस कर दिया, एनसीआर में अनाउंस कर दिया कि on so and so date, 3 days later, 4 days later, that all people with जितने disabilities हैं, all war veterans who are, everybody who wishes to dive, who is a person with disability, please come. है ना. Welcome, free of charge. Any able-bodied people who want to come, we'll charge you so that we can make it free of cost for the people with disability. That was simple business plan था ये. ठीक है. तो हमने पूरा ऐलान कर दिया and all of that. And next day I went to Talkatora Stadium. Right? I met the director over there. And there was a lady there and I told her कि ऐसे है और हमको आप 5 दिन के लिए पूल, आपके मिनिस्टर ने बोला है कि ये पूल हमें दे दीजिए and this that. So she kind of just brushed me off. She said, क्या बात कर रहे हो आप, ऐसे तो आपके पास कुछ है कागज, राइटिंग में है कि वेयर मिनिस्टर हैज रिटन दैट कि ऐसा करो. ठीक है. तो मैं बोला ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं है मेरे पास. बोलता नहीं, अगर ऐसा नहीं है तो फिर नहीं होगा. ठीक है. तो मैंने बोला यार पर आप ही के मिनिस्टर ने बोला है, ही इज नॉट ओनली द मिनिस्टर फॉर स्पोर्ट, फॉर यूथ एंड स्पोर्ट्स, ही इज आल्सो the chairman of the Sports Authority of India, under which your Talkatora pool is. He is the guy who said it, right? नहीं मिनिस्टर्स तो बोलते हैं और चले जाते हैं, बिल हमारे पास रह जाता है, and like that खड़ा करके she told me, nothing doing. You get me paperwork. She told me, I will not give you anything without the minister's physical signature on a document. अब कहाँ मिनिस्टर मिलने वाला, मिनिस्टर तो चले गए. ठीक है. He's मतलब gone traveling somewhere, busy man, next 3 days he's not there. How will you meet him and tell him that your staff is saying this? मैंने तो ऐलान कर दिया, लोग आ रहे हैं. ठीक है. तो फंस गए. and finally solution came कि आप हमें 5 लाख रुपए दे दीजिए, हम पूल बुक करके दे देंगे आपको, and अगर फिर उसके बाद मिनिस्टर आएंगे तो हम मिनिस्टर साहब से बोल के आपके 5 लाख रुपए लौटा देंगे आपको. ठीक है. अब किसके पास 5 लाख रुपए. ठीक है. So we didn't have that money and just said कि क्या करें करके ना. तो लास्ट डे हो गया था, है ना. अगले दिन ये होना था. तो एट नाइट आई कॉल्ड अप अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन की 5 लाख रुपए हम किसी, मतलब वो क्या कहते हैं, ठेके से उठाते हैं, है ना, क्या बोलते हैं, and things like that, because so I was thinking so many people are going to come tomorrow and पता नहीं कैसे आएंगे, लोग व्हील चेयर में होते हैं, कैसे ट्रैवल करेंगे, कहाँ से आएंगे, और वो पूल पे आएंगे, वो दरवाजा बंद होगा वहां पे, तो इट्स लाइक इट विल बी सैड. ठीक है. मतलब हाँ. तो बड़ा स्ट्रेस में आ गया, मैंने क्या करें करके. एंड देन आई डिसाइडेड टू टेक अ लोन ऑफ 5 lakhs and things like that. And then next morning I was supposed to pick up Shri Kiran Rijiju from his house and take him for this event. He was going to inaugurate it with a dive with us. ठीक है, तो मैंने भी सोचा कि ठीक है यार, क्या बोलते हैं, I'll pick up the minister and I'll take him there. अब his own office is not open for him, so that's not my problem. ठीक है ना?
हाँ,
हाँ, है ना? तो देख लो, फिर आपस में देख लो कि है ना, कि कैसे है. And I just thought कि क्या होगा, I'll stand in front of the gate and all जो लोग आएंगे, I'll apologize to them and tell them कि यार आज 5 लाख रुपए जो भी है, that कल आ जाना, है ना, sorry for this inconvenience, please come tomorrow, and I will pick up the loan and give the the Talgotra guys 5 lakhs and get it done. So ऐसे करके मैंने सोचा. एंड नेक्स्ट डे आई वेंट टू पिक अप द मिनिस्टर फ्रॉम हिज होम एंड वी ऐसी बात करते हुए हम आए. एंड जब मैं गेट पे पहुंचा तो रेड कारपेट लगा हुआ था गेट से लेकर पूरा पूल तक. ठीक है, लोग ना बुके के ऊपर झगड़ा कर रहे थे कि कौन देगा मिनिस्टर को बुके, है ना. सो इट हैपेंड लाइक दिस. एंड ऐसे करते वहां से हम बॉम्बे चले गए, ये वो. बट फाइनली what happened was, and this is something that probably I can share with people who are listening, is self-reliance. Self-reliance is the key to success, key to living life fully. If you believe in yourself, God or whatever supreme consciousness or whatever power that has created this world is residing in everyone and everything, so it's all about the mind learning to realize what it is, right? What is the self? So the more you depend on yourself, the more you encourage this feeling of self-reliance within you, the more you are able to, whatever you have got, you take that and throw it at your dream, the world will part, and will create new things which will support your journey, right? As long as you have selected your journey from your heart, so anyway, ले दे के लास्ट में यार we got invited to Bombay for the first Asian Diving Expo. This that we landed up there, but constantly I was having this stream of embarrassment or feeling that यार कि हर बार मैं हर जगह जाके लोगों से बात कर रहा हूँ, मांग रहा हूँ, ठीक है. And it's like a pity and charity thing, ठीक है. And then I just thought that yaar ki how can something so important like disability, like something that is going to heal somebody, how can it be very dependent on pity and charity, yaar, है ना. तो है ना, तो ऐसे करके मैंने बहुत सोचा. एंड देन आई गॉट काइंड ऑफ फेड अप ऑफ आस्किंग पीपल एंड टेलिंग स्टोरीज एंड पीपल लुकिंग गिविंग मी, या तो बोलते हैं वाह मेजर साहब बहुत बढ़िया काम कर रहे हो, या बोलेंगे अरे बेचारे दिस बेचारे दैट, ठीक है. मैंने बोला तुमको मैं बेचारा नहीं हूँ, ठीक है ना. फकिंग स्पेशल फोर्सेस सोल्जर आई नॉक यू ऑफ सो फास्ट यू नॉट कम टू नो ब्लडी, ठीक है. तो क्या बोलते हैं, बेचारा तो मैं किसी भी एंगल से नहीं हूँ, ठीक है ना. तो and neither are these people. No human being is a bichara, ठीक है ना. And those people who think that other human beings are bichara, they are biggest bicharas themselves, because they don't know what a human being is. They don't know what other people are. They don't know who they are themselves, ठीक है.
Very true, very true.
हाँ, तो क्या बोलते हैं, I just finally I got fed up and I just went home. and मैं पहले भी बताया, मैं सीधा घर पहुंचा. and again that same thing, switch off, ठीक है. जैसे मैंने फौज में एक बार स्विच ऑफ किया था, same way I just said, bro, forget switch off, and I just bought a case of beer and I sat at home and 3 days लगातार क्या बोलते हैं, उठता था बियर पीता था सो जाता था, उठता था बियर पीता था सो जाता था, ऐसे करके 3 दिन निकल गए, ठीक है. And on the 4th morning when I woke up, when I got up, I just opened my eyes and I had 3 world records in my head. पूरी पिक्चर मेरे दिमाग में थी कि that we will create 3 world records. We will create so much of energy that everything that we need will come to us, rather than running after little things here and there, constantly moving around with a begging bowl, or at least seeming to be moving around with a begging bowl, ठीक है. तो I thought, this whole vision was so clear. उठते ही सब कुछ clear था मेरे दिमाग में कि our team, we will create 3 world records in all the 3 elements of land, air and water, where a team of people with disabilities will be coming from across the globe, across these various barriers that are there in the human mind, in the human perception of race, culture, class, religion, nationality, economic status, ability, है ना. इस टाइप के जितने barriers होते हैं ना, जो जजमेंट्स होते हैं इन द ह्यूमन माइंड, इन द ह्यूमन परसेप्शन, है ना, we'll get the supposedly weakest section of society, we will get them from across the world, people with disabilities coming from across the world, across all of these barriers, mental barriers, psychological barriers of our own within self, and we'll get them together, and a team of former gods of destruction, ठीक है, former special forces soldiers, former military veterans coming together, and and specialized civilians who are specialists in these their various fields of filmmaking, of skydiving, of scuba diving. All these people will come together, and we will train together for this team of people with disabilities to learn how to skydive independently, to scuba dive independently, and to climb a mountain independently. Okay? And we'll film the damn thing, and when the world will see this film, every man who is carrying bullshit ideas of of judgment and this and that and failure and whatnot, all of these things, when they will see this movie, all of this will fall away from their mind, and they will see truth and reality as it is of what is human potential, what is a human being when he sees things as a whole, right? So a person will feel free. ठीक है? तो कि when the person, an able-bodied person, when he sees that yaar ki a paralyzed person can scuba dive independently, can be taught to scuba dive independently, right? What, and can skydive independently, can क्या बोलते हैं, climb a mountain, है ना, various. We are not saying that everybody can do everything, not right now. Everybody can do everything, but the technology isn't there yet. ठीक है, ऐसे ऐसे करके हमने सोचा, and क्या बोलते हैं, आई कॉल्ड अप द टीम, मैं बोला यार ऐसे ऐसे आइडिया है मेरे को, लेट्स डू दिस. तो जैसे ही मैंने सबको कॉल किया, नॉट इवन अ सिंगल गाय, एवरीबॉडी सेड आई ग्रेट आइडियाज, करते हैं. ठीक है, दे डिडंट थिंक कि पैसा कहां से आएगा, ग्लोबल वर्ल्ड, दिस दैट. दीस आर सोल्जर्स यार, सोल्जर्स फ्रॉम इंडियन आर्मी, ठीक है, फ्रॉम द इंडियन नेवी, just soldiers, nobody some rich man or has some fantastic exposure of the world, just simple soldiers, okay, just all of us simple soldiers, but pure thinking and a sense of belief in self that nothing is impossible. Okay, तो जैसी बात हुआ, सबने बोला हाँ करते हैं, and that journey began. And then in last year in 2021 in September, we did the first world record, we did the land world record. Okay, and क्या बोलते हैं, ऐसे ऐसे करके चल रहा है बस.
सर क्या बताऊं मैं आपको, एक और कोट आपके लिए याद आया है, because you are mentally tough. And one more thing, you mentioned about the minister who was a very good listener. I would say the same thing to you. You are a very good speaker, very energetic, and at the same time you're a very good listener as well. क्योंकि जब मैंने आपको कहा सर वो 3.5 घंटे का मोनोलॉग है, but you didn't interrupt me once. फिर I only stopped. I felt sheepish. मैंने कहा बहुत लंबा हो गया, और दिमाग खिंच जाता फिर वो. तो great. And आपने कहा leaders are not born like that. So you lead the way. Leader, आप कितने लोगों को influence करते हैं सर, कितने लोग आपसे influence होते हैं पूरा online. And देखिए, that is a leader. You are leading the way for a lot of them. So there's a quote: if you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win but think you cannot, there's almost a kinch you want. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win the prize. For out in the world we find success begins with a person's will. It's all in the state of mind. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later the person who wins is the one who thinks he can. That's for you, sir.
Team and team, when you have a team, a team like that of people who think like you, who feel like you, who believe in what you believe in, who believe in themselves, when a team forms like that, that's what it takes. It takes a team, so yeah.
So, and we have another friend of mine, sir, from Special Forces, Vikash Dhaka. उसने comment छोड़ा है यहाँ पे. Jain sir, both of you. Vikash Dhaka was with me in IPL. हमने IPL में हम अपने साथ में काम किया था हमने.
Dhaka is part of Team Claw only. He's one of those guys.
Oh, Dhaka, yes, of course. Dhaka तो आपके साथ में है. Dhaka. बात करता हूँ इसके बाद. Dhaka, great. He's a very good guy. दोस्तों, जो आप ढाका की बात कर रहे हैं, ये एक ऐसे जबरदस्त पैरा कमांडो है, एक ऐसे फॉर्मर पैरा कमांडो है, जब जबरदस्त सोल्जर है और जबरदस्त वेरी गुड वर्कर. So I have known Dhaka closely. We worked together closely during the IPL, and great guy, great guy. Sir, ये बताइए, तो आपका सफर up and down बहुत आए जिंदगी में, and you left the army not because of any medical ground or any compulsion. You left because you wanted to leave and you wanted to do. अपने आप बहुत लोग होते हैं वो disgruntled हो जाते हैं यार कि I got superseded, I'll leave. I got into an argument with my CEO, I'll leave. I thought something else, I'll leave. मगर ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. Like in my case, I came to experience 5 years. That's why I came through short service commission. I said 5 साल ही करूंगा, चाहे पसंद आए चाहे नहीं आए, और पसंद आएगी ये बात भी मेरे को मालूम था. और मैं I will ultimately go out for something else. I will take the experience and I'll move out. So you, Kisa, has it ever crossed your mind? Did you ever regret your decision thereafter?
No, I've never looked back. Somehow, I've thought about it कि क्या बोलते हैं, जिंदगी को पीछे मुड़ के मैंने ऐसे देखा है कि how do I feel, should I have stayed on, should I have taken a pension, should I have this, should I have that. I ask myself that question out of curiosity sometimes, but honestly speaking, मतलब मैं देखता ही नहीं है, मतलब this is one of the few things in my life I have zero regret about. I feel कि thank God I took that step. Thank God I jumped into the unknown, and otherwise I would not have experienced all this. I would have not known all of this that I know today. I would have been like, I would not have known what I know today. I would not have experienced what I have experienced today. So yes, like one of the few times in life I have zero regrets about anything, like nothing. I love where I am. I love what I'm able to do.
What a metamorphosis. Just when the caterpillar thought it's the end of the world, it transformed into a beautiful butterfly. So एक Khalil Gibran की एक poem है, Fear. Because you mentioned about fear sometime back, कि how to overcome fear. तो Khalil Gibran बड़ा खूबसूरती से वो 4 लाइनों में मैं बताता हूँ, वो लिखते हैं, it is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. She looks back at the path she has traveled across the peaks of the mountains, the long winding roads, crossing forests and villages. And in front of it, she sees an ocean so vast that to enter seems nothing more but to disappear forever. But there's no other way. The river cannot go back. Nobody can go back. To go back is impossible in existence. The river now has to take the risk of entering the ocean because it is now that fear will disappear and the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of becoming the ocean. That's for you, sir. That's for you and for the entire team, Claus. And sir, commendable journey, sir. So what is your vision for Claus for the next 5 years, sir?
Okay, so क्या बोलते हैं, I don't have visions for 5 years and 10 years and 20 years and for the rest of my life. Life is in the moment. So my vision is to be true to myself and how I feel in the moment always. So it's like I practice that. ठीक है कि am I happy with what I'm doing right now? 5 साल बाद कहां पहुंचूंगा, 10 साल बाद कहां पहुंचूंगा, होगा नहीं होगा, किसको पता, है ना. So the fragility of life, to understand the fragility of life is to know life itself. ठीक है, तो क्या कहते हैं, so the whole idea is a vision in itself. ठीक है, the vision is everything, it's like a god we pray to. We dedicate all our efforts, all our thoughts, everything. We shed our insecurities, we shed our bad habits or our behaviors or whatever is, in whatever the vision takes, we are able to evolve, by letting go and evolving, and the vision taking from the mind, from the heart, it is coming into reality, manifesting into actual matter. Okay, so that's the thing. And the vision is that there's something called the human ability biomes. That is the crystallization of our vision. These are hybrid ecosystems where right from people with disabilities to Olympic athletes. They can come and they can have exposure to environments where they will naturally their inner potential will come out. So there's various verticals in the biome. There's rehabilitation, there's skilling, there's education, there is employment, and there is extreme adventure sports, and then there is research finally. So what we found is that adventure sports, especially adventure sports, a good diet, breathing fresh air, having a great environment with people are like that around you, who are positive and they don't compare and they don't judge you, and they're all there to support each other. That kind of an environment, the body starts healing, the mind starts healing. People who have got diseases in their body, people who have got wiring thoda sa idhar udhar ho rakha hota hai, या whatever it is, they're suffering in their mind and they're suffering in their body. When people like this, they come to this kind of an environment, healing starts happening, right? The body, the disease starts going away, the body starts expanding, all the vital parameters start becoming stable. There is muscle building up happening, there is chest expansion happening, your breath kya bolte hain, is expanding. All of these things happening at a physical level, and then also at a psychological level. So many things become simpler and clearer to you. Clarity is a superpower. If you have clarity, you can do anything. So the reason why we lack a lot of clarity in our lives is because there's always this constant play of security and insecurity, trying to move from being an insecure in an insecure set of circumstances to a more secure set of circumstances. But ultimately marna to sab nahi hai, so security or insecurity is a fucking illusion. Okay? And you are dedicating your entire life trying to play between the matrix of security and insecurity, which actually doesn't exist. ऐसा कुछ है ही नहीं. It's some human construct, it's a mind construct, and you will always be limited within it. Okay? And the search for the human spirit is to find itself, to realize that it is unlimited. That's the search which is there in every human being's heart. Okay? Because we have all come from that supreme consciousness only, which is unlimited. है ना? सूरज और सूरज की किरण में ज्यादा फर्क नहीं होता है, नेचर सेम है. ठीक है? So our vision is to create these human ability biomes across the world. Every country has got people with disabilities. Every country has got people looking to find higher potential within themselves, and every country has got retiring veterans from the armed forces. ठीक है? 15-15, 20-20 साल बंदा यार पहाड़ों में घूमता है, कभी अंडर वाटर डाइविंग कर रहा है, नेचर में ही रह रहे हो आप, आपकी जिंदगी पहाड़ों में निकल रही है, नेचर में निकल रही है. So there are so many skill sets that you develop over 15-20 years of surviving there. Not only are you surviving there, है ना, लोग क्या करते हैं, पहाड़ में जाते हैं और वापस आ जाते हैं. ठीक है? बट फौजी क्या करता है, पहाड़ में जाता है और वही रहता है ना? ठीक है? तो ये है ना? तो when you have to survive there, when you have to survive for long months and months, you have to survive there, where you can get cut off also. लोग यार 7-7, 8-8 महीने के ग्लेशियर में कट ऑफ हो जाते हैं. ठीक है? They have no clue what is happening to their family, is their child all right, कोई बीमार तो नहीं है, कोई क्लू ही नहीं है. ठीक है? And they are surviving there on everything that is frozen. ठीक है? खाना खाने का मन नहीं करता. तो जब आप ऐसे रहते हो इतने टाइम के लिए, तो बहुत सारी कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट होता है, because to survive you have to evolve, है ना? Otherwise you will not survive. You have to evolve in your mind, you have to evolve in your thought process, you have to evolve in your behavior, you have to evolve in every damn thing to be able to survive, just to survive. So जब 15-20 साल आदमी ये सब काम करके निकलता है ना, he has developed a character, he has developed a expanded heart, and he has developed skill sets, real life skill sets, real life attitude, real life क्या बोलते हैं, understanding of life, of the fragility of life. So when these people come out, instead of going, nothing wrong with the corporate world or anything like that, but it's such a waste. Such a waste where like a guy like a Mean Bahadur or somebody like an officer or somebody whoever is retiring and coming out, and then he has to learn new tricks, right? HR कैसे होता है, ये अरे सब करके ही तो करके आ रहे हैं. We have led people in combat, we have led organizations and teams into death, right? And come out winning, coming out with people surviving and coming out. ठीक है? तो हमसे ज्यादा यार कौन बताएगा कि टीम कैसे चलती है? ठीक है? And so what we understand is that a team, the best teams for any organization that they operate at heart level. They operate from a sense of self-reliance. Each man feels he's fucking damn good. ठीक है? And everybody has belief system which is directed at and knowing that this is a higher cause. ठीक है, तो we are ready to evolve. तो इस टाइप की चीजें होती हैं. तो so every country has got this kind of potential ecosystems available where retiring military veterans can come in and deploy their skill sets, their learning, their hearts, their values. ठीक है, there are people with disabilities who can come into that ecosystem and benefit together. ठीक है, there are Olympic athletes who can come in, there are corporates who can come in and train to be more efficient. है ना? So things like that, all of these things coming together is what we are looking at to do under the human ability biomes, and we want to create it in as many places around the world and understand human potential. That's the goal of Claw Global, to understand human potential and share it with the rest of the world. That's our core. Yeah.
Wow, sir. Wow. Brilliant. Mada aa gaya, sir. Waqai. So this is like totally, I mean, your story is so inspirational. Learn so much. मैं आपको बताऊं, मैं ये 2 घंटे कहाँ भी 2 घंटे फीचर फिल्म का टाइम होता है. People go and they watch a film for 2 hours. Feature film. ये 2 घंटे आपके साथ गुफ्तगू में कहाँ बीत गए मालूम नहीं पड़ा, सर. वाकई में, I mean, and I learned so much. I gained so much from you. I mean, thank you so much for spending time, sir. You know for a fact, दोस्तों, मैं महीनों से ये गुफ्तगू चाह रहा था, महीनों से. और मेरे जितने थोड़े बहुत सब्सक्राइबर हैं, वो यहाँ पे बार-बार सर का नाम ले लिया करते थे. Get into a conversation with Major Vivek Jacob, please. And यहाँ पे बहुत से लोगों ने कमेंट किया, I don't believe, wow, I'm finally in conversation with a dynamic officer who we all idolize, we all love, we all look up to. Major Vivek Jacob, sir, शुक्रिया बहुत-बहुत हमारे लिए वक्त निकालने के लिए. Sir, before we part ways, before we let you go, एक आखिरी संदेश कुछ भी आप यूनिवर्स में छोड़ना चाहें, because you never know what frequency catches where, and as you say, miracles have always happened to you. So one last message you want to just throw to the universe, sir.
There is a twofold reason why we speak outside, है ना. नहीं तो हम अपना काम कर रहे हैं, खुश हैं अपने काम में. ठीक है, तो दुनिया को ज्ञान बांटने का मकसद नहीं है, but it's just simple thing to share love and compassion and to share a passion, to share the fire that is in my heart, to share it with other hearts, because all hearts are like that, है ना. That is what is common in this world. So that is it. And क्या कहते हैं, wish all of you who are here, wish you all the best, and lots of love, and have a ball in life, don't take anything too seriously. ठीक है ना. It's just what it is, feel free, live free, be free. Yeah.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, thank you very much. Really, truly grateful to you, and my respect for you. Always, I had a lot of respect and regard for you. You know it. It's gone up multifold even now, sir. Really, honestly, after knowing you as a person.
It's same only, yaar. It is क्या होता है ना, you recognize yourself in other people. When you see something, that you like, it's basically you finding that within you, and that is what connects people. ठीक है, तो क्या बोलते हैं, I'll just end with the last this thing, that a realization that I had, and that's the guiding factor of my life, that I always tell myself, I also have highs and lows, and good days and bad days and sad days. I get angry sometimes, and some days are this and that, some days I'm confused, some days I have clarity. That's life. Okay, that's life. And it's great that life is like that, otherwise it would be so boring. And so the thing is that there's nowhere to go, there is only to be. Nowhere to go, only to be. Be like that, and your life will be like that. Choose your highest sense of self and be like that, and you will become like that. Your brain, your neural network itself will change to be like what your heart believes in. So choose what your heart believes in and follow it. That's your success. That's what you're looking for. That's what is going to spread the light all around you, especially within your own heart. Yeah. I really love the way you analyze things. Are really good, very nice, very pertinent, and very well brought out, and to the point. Fantastic.
Thank you, sir. It means a lot, sir. Really, really means a lot. You made my day, sir. शुक्रिया बहुत. मैं आपको अगर तो मैं जाने दूंगा. I would just hold on to you, and I am coming and meeting you in flesh and blood very, very soon, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Thanks, Mohammed. Thanks.